Alright, we're working here again with another athlete. This is Jason. He's from the New York area. I've known Jason for a couple years now, and he's made a lot of strides in his throws. So we're going to break these down and see where we can make some improvements for him. First thing we have here is a weight for distance he's throwing. I wish that he sinks pretty good here. The left arm is just kind of out and about. He's not really using it to counter. He's not really using it for anything other than it's kind of frozen there at the beginning. I think he could cast a little bit more before he starts turning, kind of try to push the weight almost to 12 o'clock out in front of the trig, or directly out to the throwing area before he gets pivoting around it. He catches it pretty good back around 9 o'clock, which is what I think is the best move to do. And then from there, he doesn't drive it down as much as he already starts going in for the spin. So he's missing the big drive. So from here, he's got to kind of change the orbit of the throw and really push it down to that 6 o'clock position and create an elliptical in the orbit to really get the acceleration out of the back. So once he hits there, he kind of just goes to a turn and lets the weight pull him to the front. Whereas what I recommend is really pushing the weight down and sinking with it into your hips and legs, and then driving off of that right foot as a hard lunge, and you driving the weight out to the front. So you get an elliptical in your orbit, and that long part going into a short creates acceleration. So as he comes through and hits, he does a pretty good job of posting up and lifting up and out. It's really not a bad finish at all. He just doesn't have the drive out of the back of the ring. Now that drive out of the back of the ring, that real sink with the hips and push off the legs, that's where you apply the force of everything you do in the gym to your throw. I mean, it doesn't make any sense if you're going to squat 600 pounds, but your technique, you're only getting 200 pounds of leg drive. You got to get it to the bottom. That way you can get all of it. You want to be able to push into the weight and transfer into the implement. And unless that thing is right behind you and in a straight line that you're pulling against it, you're going to miss it. Other than that, the finish is pretty solid. The other throw here he's got is a hammer throw. Now the hammer throw, watching him, it's actually not bad. Off of his first wind, he's pretty good set up. I would like to see him sink the hips harder over to the right side to start. I mean, get past that foot and then really pull back down with the right foot to get him back into it and create that C, but on both sides of the throw. He never gets the left side C. He gets there, but he doesn't ever get it on the other side. So it's really, once you're using the blades, for those who don't know, you've got boots on with like a blade on the end of it that dig you into the ground and kind of weight you in. So you've got to use them and pull yourself up and down with your legs kind of like a piston. He keeps his orbits pretty good. I would like to see more lift off of 2, where you really push. Think about pushing the hammer up, and that way it has longer to fall and you can use gravity to really bring it in. You can kind of, it's tough to see, but you can kind of see that the ball here is in front of the hands, and you've got to stay in front of it to keep applying force. As soon as the ball's in front of the hands, you're behind it. And part of that is just being able to counter and stay against it and stay long. That lift here really will make a difference to sink in. And on the release turn, he gets back pretty good. I still think he could push his head back further and sink. He gets pretty good over to this side, but the ball is going to come through. He keeps his orbits pretty good by following, keeping everything over the right side so he can keep applying force. However, the knee doesn't really start driving and turning everything just like anything else. You've got to drive, and then that left side's got to block solid. Really think about stomping the ground with that left side. I mean, stay pretty down on the last turn through here with your knees, and then really here stomping the ground with that left foot to get that lift up and out. His head is back, and the finish is pretty good. He's on balance, and he's not falling toward the camera. I would like to see the left foot almost come out because he stomped it so hard and lift out, and then the left foot could actually rotate or pull out toward the throw a little bit. That's my best throws, and a lot of guys do that really well. I know guys like Mike Pekoski throws a hammer a mile, but he only wears one blade on the right foot, so that's really the only foot he's working the whole time. Other than that, these are pretty solid throws. It's just that drive off the back there, and then with the hammer I really suggest trying to lift it higher on 2 and then throw everything back on 3. So you've got more or less a cast for the first throw, try to build some momentum on the first cast with the hammer. The second one, lift it up and then sink down with the hips to pull it in and through. And on the third one, throw it back as far to get the linear push behind you, to really put a direction on the hammer to force it out with that right hand. Again, it's all a right hand push on these throws. It's not a pull. You're not dragging things. You've got to keep the weight pushing. So that's it. And if anybody else has got some videos they want to send me, please hit me up. I'm happy to do this. So.